Jonathan Conricus is a former IDF spokesperson, a senior fellow at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. He joins us now live from Tel Aviv. Jonathan, it is good to see you. We are hearing reports from both Israeli officials and the Trump administration that while they have slowed, peace talks are moving ahead for at least a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza and the release of at least 10 live hostages. And now we hear that for the first time, Israel is entering another section since this war began, Deir Balah in Gaza. What can you tell us about the calculus behind this incursion? Is it based on intelligence, or is this Israel trying to inflict even more pressure on Hamas? How does that factor into peace talks?
Yes, hi, thank you for having me on. It's good to see you. It's a sad thing that the topic that we're discussing. But I would say this, I think Israel has done two things parallel. On one hand, Israel has basically walked back significant claims, and it has changed its position in negotiations, and it has agreed to things that previously it didn't agree to. Specifically, the location of Israeli troops during a ceasefire and at a possible end of a ceasefire, and showing lots of flexibility towards Hamas's position. Parallel to that, what Israel is doing on the ground, and I think you're right, what Israel is doing is indeed signaling to Hamas that if it isn't enough that Israel shows willingness to be flexible in negotiations and really wants a deal in order to get 10 live hostages home and get a ceasefire, then what the IDF is ready to do is to escalate operations and to expand both military operations in areas that so far the IDF didn't operate, and perhaps more importantly for Hamas, allow the American Gaza Humanitarian Foundation to expand its operations into new parts of Gaza, which I think is a significant threat towards Hamas, and that they're really deterred by that. So we'll see how Hamas responds. I think we can agree the people who suffer the consequences of Hamas's refusal to end the war are people in Israel and people in Gaza. The pictures that you show are very sad, and the situation on the ground is horrible. But at the end of the day, Israel does a lot in order to try to be flexible, but Israel cannot be much more flexible than it already has been.
Jonathan, I mean, as you point out, the piece that we had our reporter cover just there that aired a second ago is incredibly painful to watch. I mean, people in Gaza are literally starving to death. And I think the saddest thing is that not only are people starving to death, but you have people on their way going to get aid, as I'm sure you know, being killed. And people sort of make the calculation that it is worth, they are so hungry, Jonathan, that they have decided that it is worth risking their lives to get a tiny bowl of soup to feed a family of 12 or 15 people. What do you think Israel should be doing at this point to ensure the safety and the protection of a lot of civilians, especially the children? That is what pains me the most. The children who are on their way to seek aid. What should Israel be doing if it's perhaps, you know, for example, non-lethal forms
women and children,
of crowd control?
And elderly and disabled people.
Just how
of course, it's very
sad,
extremely sad that they are affected by the war. But before I tell you what I think Israel should be doing, I'll say that the responsible party for everything happening in Gaza is Hamas. The war could have ended a long, long time ago, the war that Hamas started on October 7. It could have ended many, many months ago by Hamas surrendering, handing over the hostages and finishing the war. They're refusing to do it, and they continue to refuse to end the war despite the fact that Israel is constantly moving towards Hamas's demands. What I think should be done is to defeat Hamas. It is to crush Hamas. It is to implement a situation in Gaza where humanitarian aid is provided, even in greater numbers than what is currently provided, by Israel, really by Israel, not only by interlocutors, but really by Israel and with the help of interlocutors, in order to apply significant pressure on Hamas and to make them understand that this isn't going to go anyway but their surrender and the handover of hostages, and only after that happens can anything positive happen in Gaza. As long as Hamas can enjoy the illusion that they can both stay in power, have a ceasefire, and dictate terms to Israel and hold on to hostages, the people that will continue to pay the consequences for that is the population in Gaza. And I agree with you. They are suffering, not at all at their own fault, but the organization that should be held accountable is Hamas for starting the war, for refusing to end it, for refusing to share the aid that they are taking into Gaza. I can assure you that Hamas fighters are not hungry. Hamas senior commanders are not hungry, and Hamas-affiliated families are not hungry. The common Palestinians in Gaza may be hungry, and women and children who are not affiliated and who are not from the right clans and who don't have clout with Hamas, they may go hungry because Hamas uses them and doesn't care. And it's sad that they are suffering indeed.
All right, we will be right back after this short break.